It is here, the NCAA tournament. That's right. Time to have your brackets filled out, your picks in, your viewing parties scheduled. Get ready, Preston Thorne, because last night, all right, we got another game in. Got Xavier knocking off Texas. Don't know what that does for the SEC. We debated that a little bit yesterday.
Here we go.
And, don't do that. Oh, good Lord.
Here we go.
But we had that last night, but getting going later on today, we will have you taken care of from 12 to 6. We'll be down at Hickory. We'll be down. Where's my sheet? Where are we at today? At Twin Peaks. We'll be down at Twin Peaks later on today, so make sure you stop by in the Vista and hang out with us as we get you up and get you going here on your NCAA tournament Thursday. Have you gotten your bracket filled out yet?
I was just about to ask if it was too late.
No, because
okay, I'm still hours.
I think we're gonna do it. We will do this together here.
Okay.
On the show to hold each other accountable.
Right.
How's that?
Okay. I was just looking. I was like, I don't have it figured out yet, so we'll have to get it done.
We will get it going here in just a little while as a full slate of games gets going here later on today around 12:30 with a lot of really fun action, a very entertaining NCAA tournament. 12:15 today. Creighton and Louisville will take to the court, and we'll get that going. Then right behind them, 12:40, High Point and Purdue, and that'll be followed up at 1:30 with Montana and Wisconsin. 2 o'clock, SIU Edwardsville. Preston, SIU Edwardsville.
Well, I know it's in Edwardsville. The problem is I don't know Southern Illinois.
Very good. Good job.
There we go.
Houston. SIU Edwardsville playing Houston at 2 o'clock. Later on today at 2:50, Alabama State and Auburn. Interesting game given the news yesterday. What a comeback. McNeese taking on Clemson. I mean, this goes to show you.
And another thing.
Put it on the rundown. This goes to show you that pretty much do what you want in basketball.
So again, is it too late for Huggy Bear? I'm just saying. I
have to look at his age. I think his age would matter. Will Wade yesterday taking the North Carolina State job. Well, slated to take the North Carolina State job. He will become their next head coach.
He's not older than Pitino.
Huggy Bear?
Yeah.
No, but he didn't win at the clip Rick Pitino did.
It's true.
I mean, he didn't win. Say he's 71. He'll be 72. And
again, not older.
Nah, yeah. But, you got McNeese and Clemson. Again, Clark Kellogg picking Clemson to run through their side of the bracket.
That matchup could have been extremely interesting. It could have been two lame duck coaches.
Had Brad Burnell taking the Indiana job? That's a good point. That would have been really fun to watch.
Two dudes like, I don't care, man. Whatever, man. I'm out of here.
They're just sitting over there sipping water, talking, legs crossed. What's going on?
Because I'm sure Will Wade is going to be 100% focused on the current job at hand.
If you look over and he's on the phone, he's already recruiting for North Carolina State. Hold on, run that play. I got with the portal player right now.
And yes, and another thing.
We'll get to more of that. VCU and BYU at 4 o'clock today. Georgia Gonzaga, 4:35 today.
My brother already called the upset, but I don't know.
8-9 seed Gonzaga is a 6.5-point favorite per ESPN bet.
So he called Georgia.
Okay, it's an upset. They're the. I never know what I'm supposed to say. The higher seed because they're 9/8. The lower seed because they're not as high.
I love my brother, but he's also the guy that he'll make the 1 versus 16 claim every year. He'll claim 20 upsets.
If South Carolina had been the 16 and had to play somebody, he would have pulled a Gamecock. So he's a Gamecock Larry because if we had been a 16 seed playing a 1, Gamecock Larry would have picked South Carolina.
Well, I see what you're going because of the Georgia deal. It's not that he's a Georgia fan. It's just that he likes picking upsets.
Okay.
And then he likes to be right out of he picked.
And then likes to do. So if he picks all 4 for 10 straight years and he's 0 for 40, but he lands one in year 11 and he's 1 for 41 or 1 for 40, he's like, I've been telling you. I told you this was coming.
He's that guy.
Gotcha. All right, no problem. So the afternoon session gets going with Wofford, an in-state team, taking on Tennessee. That'll be 6:50 tonight. Arkansas and Kansas. That's another really fun one, big one. 7:10 tonight. Yale and Texas A&M, 7:25. Drake and Missouri, 7:35. And then we really kick into the night session. Utah State and UCLA, 9:25. Omaha and St. John's. There's your Rick Pitino, 9:45 tonight. UC San Diego and Michigan at 10 o'clock. And the really late game, if you haven't overindulged yourself by that point, UNC Wilmington and Texas Tech tonight at 10:10. So there's the rundown for today. Should be a lot of fun. Should be very interesting to watch the NCAA tournament. Again, you can come hang out with us from 12 to 6 over at Twin Peaks over in the Vista. 803-404-6100. Also yesterday, Preston, we got to hear from some football players. Mainly, I think everybody was interested in Nick Harbor. All right, Nick, what exactly are you doing? What is the plan now after 2 years on campus?
Well, he gave us a very definitive answer to what his plan was, and it was kind of interesting to me, actually. I don't know if it's surprising, but we've been leading up to this, and not to say that we knew things would change. I was interested yesterday to seeing, we just heard the news that he was going to be participating in football full-time. And I was wondering what had changed in the meantime to make him make the decision. So maybe we'll hear a little bit from that.
We'll let you hear from Nick Harbor a little bit on what he had to say yesterday as it pertains to his future in football and what his goals, I guess we should say, are, because I thought that was kind of interesting. Also, we'll let you hear a little bit from Paul Maneri last night on Carolina Calls. He talked a little bit about the challenge that's coming up starting tomorrow night as they get set to take on Arkansas. Preston, I mean, we said this after the Clemson series. Clemson, the way they lost, yeah, Clemson was kind of the better team. South Carolina lost in very close fashion in multiple games. But Preston kind of said it, Clemson's good, but Clemson's not going to be the best team they play.
Right.
And it wasn't a shot at Clemson. It was no offense to Clemson, but Clemson maybe was going to end up being the 6th or 7th best team they played. So you couldn't use the excuse of like, oh, they're just a really good team. We'll be better in SEC play, because no, in SEC play, you were going to run into some other really good teams.
And we're starting at the top, pretty close to the top, right?
Yeah.
So this is going to be on the road, huge contest. Looking forward to seeing how they compete in this particular series.
And so we'll let you hear a little bit about that. Josh Harris will join us for our Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge segment coming up later on this morning. And what exactly is the big picks for us is now we enter week 6 of the NASCAR races. They'll be down in Homestead, and yeah.
It's still early.
It's still very early. Still very early. So you got plenty of time on that. Look, you're only 4 points out of the lead. The leader being me right now. So
yeah, it's just
you're one picked winner away from jumping back in. But yeah, you've been pretty much boom or bust on this thing.
It's the natives are restless, though.
Okay.
The natives are restless.
The natives are restless?
Yeah, they're not very happy with what's occurring right now. I think they had high expectations in my 3rd season going into the honeymoon is over, essentially.
The backers are upset with you, what you're saying. Yes. All right, the financial guys. Got it. All right, well, we will get to all of that this morning. A lot to get to. Jen out this morning. Producer Ed Bird joining us this morning, so we've got him in studio with us. And, again, we got a lot to get to as we roll along. We'll fill out some of our NCAA men's tournament bracket here, and we'll have both of ours finalized by the end of the show. Also, this morning we'll listen to some football and some baseball and anything else that comes our way. If you want to join in, 803-404-6100. That's how you can weigh in and be a part of the program this morning. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, producer Ed Bird. It is the early game. Want to remind you about the upcoming 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Classic. That's right. It is next Friday, March the 28th at Charwood Golf Club in West Columbia. $400 for a foursome. That's $100 per person for those of you out there struggling with math early on in the morning. All you need to do is call Charwood today to sign up and secure your foursome. 803-755-2000. Again, that's 803-755-2000. You can call Charwood today and get registered. We'll have a tea time at 9:30. They'll have the breakfast sausages going. You want to come out and join us next Friday, March the 28th at Charwood Golf Club and play in our 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Classic along with Lexington County Gamecock Club. 803-755-2000. That's how you can call Charwood today. Call out and get registered for the 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Classic. Early start to your morning here, and so we've got just one disabled vehicle on I-77 northbound at Forest Drive. So if you're heading northbound on I-77, keep an eye out. Again, a disabled vehicle on Forest Drive. Weather today supposed to be windy, little cloudy, maybe a chance of showers. Good day to kind of knock off early, get over to Twin Peaks and hang out with Terry and Elijah and Jay and watch some basketball. High is expected to be about 66. It'll be clear tonight with a low of 39. That is your weather report. You're listening to the early game. 6:15 as we get you up and get you going on your Thursday morning, March the 20th. I believe, Preston, this is where Jen comes in so handy. I believe today is technically the true first day of spring for this little solstice. You sure? Can you help me on that?
I have no idea.
This is where we really count on Jen. Ed. All right, I get producer Ed in my ear lets me know today is officially the opening day of spring. So, all right, we got you set on that. So we're going to get you up, get you going, and that means spring practice yesterday officially got underway one day before spring. But it's kind of like fall camp. It's not really fall camp, but it's preseason because this is truly spring practice. And Preston, I remember last year at this time, one of the things that you and I talked about was like, man, Nick Harbor. Good. I'm glad he's out there. And as Shane Beamer would say, he was getting mental reps. And both of us were like, the mental reps, he needs the physical reps. He's got to learn to play. He's got to develop his skills with Lenora Sellers and really learn the position. It's the mental reps aren't helping him. But he ended up having a very good year last year. He surprised me. He did more than I thought he would. And I also was really surprised with the way as the season dragged on, the season went on, the way he seemed to develop in season. And Preston, I kind of attributed that to him playing the position and working with Mike Furry. And it makes you wonder how far along he would have been if he not done track last year and focused on football for the 15 spring practices.
Yeah, he had the overwhelming majority of his yards were in the last 7 games of the season. I think, as I'm looking at the notes here, 325 out of his 376 came in the last 7 games, even more so backloaded at the end. And yes, he solidly continued to contribute. And you're right, Bill. We said it was like mental reps are fine for a veteran. But this guy needs physical, actual reps where he's working on the physical things that he needs to learn to be a wide receiver. So there's been a clear change in direction as far as his career is concerned involving football and track.
And yesterday he talked about it, why track is done for the year.
That track don't work like that. If you're not in there, no, if I wanted to come back to track, I'll be coming back right now. You can't just, do a whole football season, I'll say whole spring ball, and then just try to go run without no running before that. So, I think my track for this year is done. So, yeah.
All right. So, not sure where he was going with all that. Track don't work like that. But, yeah, I mean, look, he's got a career. He has a career in football, but the career involves development.
Yeah, because track is a highly skilled sport, especially at the levels he was trying to compete at. It's not just going out there and running fast. He's trying to run curves. He has to work on all that technique and skills. He has to have his body in the proper shape. And that's what we've been saying this whole time is that his football acumen versus his track acumen are going to be 2 different things. And so he's not just going to be able to jump out on the track. I actually do think it's harder to just jump out on the track as opposed it is to football. He can learn some of these things in football, whereas, as he was saying, track is – those people are highly skilled, and the margin for error in track is very slim. And so he said track was done for now. I don't know about that.
Okay.
I might put a period at track is done and see where it goes from there.
He talked about – he just said for the year. He just said for the year.
I hear him.
But I mean that makes sense because obviously he's going to give this. Let's remember, this is his junior year. I mean, technically speaking, he could have a big year and declare himself for the NFL draft. In his career, the former 5-star has 48 catches in his career, 4 touchdowns during that time period. He has caught 571 yards worth of passes. Mundane numbers, not bad, but just not what you'd expect out of 5-star. But if he can perform, if he can develop with Mike Furry, and maybe Nick saw something during the fall working with Mike Furry that made him think, maybe I should dedicate myself to this.
He saw success. He saw catching balls. He saw touchdowns. He saw all these things happening in the season. He's like, oh, there might be something here for me. So there's a big difference between, and you see this slow development that's happening. And one thing we all have to remind ourselves is that Nick was a raw athlete. He wasn't a receiver. He wasn't a defensive end. He was a dude who was big, fast, strong, and they have to make him into a football player. And that process might be a little bit longer. He wasn't a 5-star because of his stats or his film. He was a 5-star because of his physical attributes. And so they're trying to mold and refine that into him being a football player.
He talked about the benefits of a full spring, being a full spring participant. Here's what he had to say about that.
We wonders. I don't have to come back in July or August and, try to ramp everything back up. I'm just smooth sailing, really going off of last year. So, yeah, I'm excited to do it.
And there you hear some of it. He's saying, yeah, last year I saw success, and now he wants to see. Look, I think, Preston, and I say this just kind of spitballing as we're talking about it, this will be the first time in his life he spent 12 months fully devoted to football. And that right there, for a guy who is a very good, how do we want to define him as an athlete? I was going to say a very good athlete, but look, I know the initial thing is to say no, but he has made some catches where you go, okay, he twisted and turned and was able to pull in that ball and do something.
Catch.
Yeah.
He made a huge catch against Alabama, which was extremely athletic, and that wasn't something I expected him to see him do. You can pull up other clips throughout the same season, maybe even the same game, where you'd say, I don't know how much of an athlete he is.
Well, he did early in the season. He did have a knack for the ball going through his hands, hitting him in the chest, popping up and catching. And that's a hand-eye coordination thing when you miss it and still reel it in.
Well, he did speak that he might have gotten that corrected because he got contacts. He fixed part of the hand-eye equation.
Whereas what you're telling me, our quarterback and our wide receiver both needed to just get an NIL deal with a contact company.
Just suck it up. I mean, he admitted, he said, look, man, I needed contacts. And the world has changed. And anybody who's ever gotten contacts or put glasses on, you're like, whoa, okay. So, but I will say this. There's probably not a more unathletic play in football than the ball going through your hands and hitting you in the chest or face mask. There's nothing, I don't know if there's a more unathletic looking play. So, as great as that play was against Alabama, when the ball goes through your hands and hits you in the face, you immediately drop all points that you had.
Okay.
I'm just saying I can't think of a more unathletic play.
I think it's J.C. Sherbert, though, who has said that the next step for him is to catch a slant, which I haven't seen South Carolina throw many slants, let alone one to Nick Arbor. But the next step is to catch a slant or catch a short pass, break a tackle because he's a big dude and take off. JC makes it sound very easy that's just, it's just the SEC. It's not like those defensive backs are good sized or strong either.
Yeah, I would like to see that. His route tree right now is pretty limited, and
but that's again there's to what we're doing.
And a lot of people have made a living doing that. Not saying that he's Randy Moss, but people with those types of attributes have made a living just. You go that way, and we'll throw the ball to you. You jump higher, you run faster, you can catch the ball. So that is still a viable skill set that he has.
Let's also hear a little bit from Oscar Attaway, because Oscar Attaway, the part about this is, Preston, we talked about it, he's 25. Now, Rasul Faison is, and I think Faison's 25. Oscar Attaway will be 25 in October, I believe. So Oscar Attaway is a veteran of college football, as he talks about. Here's what Oscar Attaway had to say yesterday, talking about being a veteran of college football.
A lot of people try to lead by example, which is you know what I'm saying? A lot of people should lead by example, but I chose this year to lead by experience because, I've done it all. I've been injured. I've been in winning good teams. I've been in sorry teams. I've been in mid-average teams, you know what I'm saying? So all of that. So, experience is going to go far, far away from me and Russell.
What do you take away from that? Lead by experience.
That's that's interesting. Yes, that's a new part of the college football landscape where you can have a player who can compare his experiences in other places. I'm sure Oscar Attaway tells those guys every day, hey, it wasn't like this at North Texas whenever they're getting all the accoutrements that come with being an SEC football player. It's y'all might want to – this is something different here. Also, all this winning that we're doing around here, it's not necessarily a thing. What Oscar Attaway has to do is that's great that you've done it all, but you've actually We need you to do it here.
Right.
And he didn't do it last year, and he was still experienced, even though there was rocket Sanders days, et cetera, et cetera. We'll see how that turns out.
I think that the thing with Attaway, this is we kind of have seen this with some guys. He seems like a good change of pace secondary back. Can he be the lead guy, the one that gets going in a game? That's what Rocket Sanders was so good at doing. That's when we've seen South Carolina with good running backs. Mario Anderson might have been a really good secondary change of pace guy, because remember, he was good for about one run a game that he would break off. We'd be like, oh, he's actually pretty fast and can motor. But maybe there was 10 carries of 2 yards that he averaged, and then 1 for 75, and he would end up with over 100 yards because of that one. What exactly, how does Oscar Attaway exactly fit into that particular room is going to be really interesting. They're still waiting on Rasul Faison to be eligible. He was out there yesterday. But you look at the guys, Jarwan Howell, who was kind of gearing up in the bowl game and had the fumble, and then we didn't see much from him afterwards. Obviously, Matthew Fuller is another guy that they're kind of excited about. So a lot of guys there that we'll continue to see and monitor as it pertains to the running back room. 803-404-6100. We'll come back. We'll get into a little bit of baseball. Paul Mainieri last night was on Carolina Calls talking about Arkansas and getting ready for them. Big series for the baseball team. We'll let you hear it. You're listening to the early game. All right, not much else to report right now at this moment. We still have the disabled vehicle, I-77 northbound at Forest Drive. So, again, if you're traveling up I-77 northbound and you get to Forest Drive, expect a disabled vehicle there. Also, now one more new thing to report, I-20 eastbound at exit 55. We have a little incident there, so just be careful. I-20 eastbound at exit 55. Again, conditions today, windy, cloudy, chance of showers, high expected to be only about 66, and tonight, clear and 39 is your low. So it should be a nice day, not great, but a nice day, not like yesterday. So get out and try and enjoy it. You're listening to the Weather Report on 107.5 The Game. .33 as we get you up and get you going here on your Thursday morning. Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, producer Ed Burgeon is out for today and tomorrow. I'll be back as on Monday. I'll actually be back on Monday as well, so mark it up. Another day off for me tomorrow. I know you guys are, that would be number, for those keeping track, and apparently you guys are, I believe that will be number five. Although 3 of those days were not vacation days. They were being father of the year days. 803-404-6100. I tell you what, let's do this, Preston. Got a few things here. We're going to give you a chance in just a second to get 2 more teams for the NCAA tournament. But first, let's talk a little bit about Paul Mainieri and getting ready now for Arkansas. And, this is just the life in the SEC. You go from Oklahoma, who is basically a top 15 team. Now you go on the road to Arkansas, and Paul Mainieri talked a little bit about it. Producer Ed, let's hear cut number 11 with Paul Mainieri talking about the challenge of playing Arkansas.
I want to go against Arkansas because that's the next team we're playing on our schedule. I've taken several teams to Fayetteville. It's a great environment there. I'm not a big fan of their suey call, but they're very passionate fans. They always have a great ball club. I have a lot of respect for Dave Van Horn, who's the coach there, and they always have great ball players. So we're in for a real challenge this weekend. But listen, Casey, you can't look too far ahead in this league. If you look too far ahead and you start thinking about, you can take somebody for granted, or you can't wait to play this team. Listen, this league is a gauntlet. It's 30 real tough battles, and you got to take them one at a time. You can't even go into a weekend thinking, oh, we need to sweep or we need to win this series. You just got to take it one game at a time, and when that game's over, you turn your attention to the next one. It's just such a great league. I call the SEC the major leagues of college baseball, because no matter what team it is, it can be the top team, it can be the worst team. All the teams are littered with SEC caliber players, just like every major league team has major league players. So if you want to have success in this league, you better take advantage of that challenge right in front of you.
All right, let's give some context to that, because I actually heard that specific exchange last night. This is kind of funny. A caller called in and basically asked Paul Mainieri, the league is so tough and so difficult, and there's so many good teams. If Paul Mainieri is looking at the schedule and paying attention to it right now, what particular team is he most interested or most intrigued for his team to play right now? Mm-hmm. You heard Paul Mainieri's beginning. Well, I play Arkansas next. Mm-hmm. It goes back to the old Clemson. Was it he got asked about Clemson? I can't remember who they were playing in that midweek game. He's like, worried about this one. So Paul Mainieri is a very next game kind of mentality. I take that away.
One foot in front of the other.
And then also, again, Mr. SEC there, you hear him. He loves the SEC. He loves SEC baseball.
He said he was annoyed by the pig suey call.
Yeah, that too.
But I feel like the first time he hears it, he's going to be like, this is nice. This is nice. Glad to be back. Hi everybody. Welcome. Glad to be back. Yeah. I didn't hear the pretext for that conversation, but he's absolutely right. It's gonna get old hearing him saying that, but he's sticking to it. Whereas you cannot look forward in this league. You have to be able to play game by game. And what's really interesting is that when you're hearing he's talking about not taking anybody for granted. Of course, we can't take anybody for granted. We're not one of the top teams in the league. I wonder how the other teams what's their perception of this South Carolina team? What does Arkansas think of this South Carolina team? Are they the ones who maybe will let a lower ranked, not unranked, a unranked, lower seeded, less talented, are they going to let that team slip up on them and maybe steal one or two from them in the season?
I don't think so. Again, we'll do this for a lot of the year, and it's not always fair or nice. But I think if it had been Mark Kingston, yes, that would be different. You heard Paul Mainieri reference Dave Van Horn. There is a friendship there to knowledge. And so I can see Dave Van Horn telling his team this week, hey, I know that guy. He's won a national championship. His team is going to come in scrappy. They're going to be competitive. If you guys make mistakes, they're going to get us. And he'll point to the Saturday game against Oklahoma, and then he might point to Sunday and be like, look, they're a play away, a two, an out here, a fly ball there, away from being 2-1 in this conference and coming in here and it being a big matchup. So I think the coach, not the coach is earning South Carolina the respect right now, not the team. I don't know if that resonates and makes sense with you.
Yeah, it makes plenty of sense. You say, hey, that coach might get you. There was definitely an idea of that. I mean, very similar to when we keep making the same comparison, very similar to when Steve Spurrier came in here.
Right. Yeah.
People are like, oh, the old ball coach might be able to dial something up. And eventually, especially that first year's team, they got a couple of things done based on what they had and what they had going. So, yeah, there's definitely an aspect of the coach garnering the other coach's attention, which leads to how they prepare during the week.
Now, one of the things that'll be important is the weekend rotation. And last night, he talked a little bit about Brandon Stone and the weekend rotation.
As I mentioned earlier in the show, I've been gone all day today, and Terry and I are going to talk about it tonight and make a decision. But I thought Brandon, after that first inning, I thought he pitched great. And a lesser person, Derek, would have probably thrown in the towel after a 4-run first inning. But he righted himself, and he pitched great. I thought the next 4 innings he gave up a solo home run, but that was it. And you and I have talked about this so many times, but when we've talked privately. I think there was a reason why Brandon didn't have a successful first inning. I don't think that the pitch clock was administered properly. He was rushed through his warm-up pitches. He wasn't really ready to pitch in the first inning, and it kind of showed, but before you know it, he's in the stretch. He's got guys on base. He's having a tough time, but he got through it, and unfortunately, we dug ourselves a hole that was a little bit too big to come out of. But Brandon, whether we start him or use him out of the bullpen, he's going to be really good for us. And I'm not trying to hide anything. I just want to make sure that I talk with Terry about it and we decide what the best thing is going forward.
So, and I tell you what, let's go back real quick. No, don't worry about it. I was going to say we'll go back and hear the value of having the 4-star, but Preston, that is, they've still got to figure out. You can see they're still toying with the rotation and trying to figure out exact roles for different guys.
I wonder if they're waiting for somebody to step up and take one of these spots. Right? We had I forget the player whose name escapes me that was building into the midweek, and I said it yesterday.
Jarvis Evans.
Yeah. So are they hoping like, okay, hey man, you keep taking these midweek games and you keep doing well here, maybe you have an opportunity to propel yourself into the weekend rotation, because like you said, it still seems to be something that they're building while they're going. So we'll see who, if anybody steps up, and if this changes throughout the weekend.
803-404-6100. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 2. But first, let's give you a chance right now to get a team from our NCAA 107.5 The Game bracket contest. We'll take callers 6 and 8. 803-404-6100. We'll take callers 6 and 8. 803-404-6100. Get a team right now. Call producer Ed Bird. Callers 6 and 8. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game.
Pressing here for our friends at Integrated Media. So it's time for yourself to get ready. We told you all these events will be happening during the spring. The major spring basketball tournaments, the SEC baseball is going to be happening. All things that happen, and you can be sitting outside on your porch, on your deck, or wherever you spend your time watching all of these events. You can get Samsung Terrace TVs. They'll be waterproof, so you don't have to worry about the rain. Or Sonos outdoor speakers for TV and music, so you can hear the commentary. Wi-Fi that works indoors and outdoors. You can have multiple screens, indoors, outdoors, so you can see everything at the same time. Or my personal favorite, you can control all your devices from just one remote. So from home theater setup to adjusting your thermostat or monitoring your security systems from your cell phone, Integrated Media is the company that you should call. Call Nathan and Michael at 803-948-8327. That's 803-948-8327. Or you can reach them online at integratedmediainc.com.
.648 as we wrap up our number one. A little depressing this morning that we don't have the Tokyo series on. I didn't realize again, as I said, Tuesday morning press. Very rarely do we get like stuff that we're into or that I mean, look, don't get me wrong. When they've got the Australian Open on, or I think it's maybe the French Open, Wimbledon, we get here and watch it, but like the Open Championship, that was a lot of fun. I think there was a few years ago some World Cup was taking place.
You're neglecting the coolest thing that we watched on live TV early one morning, and that leads us into our segment. We were able to break the news about one golfer being arrested on his way to the tournament. We did see that live, and we were trying to figure out whether we were getting pranked or what was happening.
Right.
So that's probably the top of the list of things we've seen early in the morning. But you're right, we don't get a chance to see live actual sports.
Yeah, so I do kind of miss that. And there's the Shohei Ohtani home run from yesterday. They almost ruled fan interference on the. You see this? They're having to reach. Very questionable. I think he got helped out by some people there.
Well, tie goes to the home field.
Tie goes to
the home field legend.
But I kind of missed that. But we will be able in a few weeks to maybe catch a little bit of the Masters when we're sitting in here. And yesterday, a tradition like no other. Scotty Scheffler puts out his what do you want to call it? Masters dinner menu. And Preston, the Masters Dinner Club. I guess things that you can't have stand out the most, and the fact that there's no money that can buy you into this dinner. There's no amount of money. Nobody out there can just go, you know what? I want to be there. Here's X number of dollars. Like, the only people who get to go are winners. Mm-hmm. It is the most exclusive of exclusive clubs almost. And the fact that, by the way, they don't even you're allowed to film them going in, but that's it. And then they give you your green jacket, and then they take the picture. That's a really, really wild club to be a part of.
Yeah, good spot. So, the experience, when you talk about exclusivity and highfalutin, this is a spot where you have to earn your reservation to be at the table.
And then yesterday, the Masters dinner. Now, you got the best chefs in the world. Mm-hmm. So, Scotty Scheffler, and, of course, if you've seen these things, if you've really followed them over the years, winners go with what it's their menu. Scotty Scheffler yesterday going cheeseburger sliders, served Scotty style. I believe that is just with a pickle, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Firecracker shrimp. This is just the appetizer. Sweet Thai chili and sriracha mayo. Papa Chef's meatball and ravioli bites. I believe that is what he was fixing when he cut his hand in the glass back in Christmas. So he's got some kind of cheese and a tomato basil sauce. The first course will be Texas-style chili, cheddar cheese, jalapenos, and corn chips. How are we feeling so far?
Okay. Not a fan of firecracker shrimp. Never had them.
Really?
No, never worked for me.
Didn't see that one coming.
We're solid so far. Let's keep it going.
Okay. All right. So then that leads us down to the actual main course, which will be wood-fired cowboy ribeye or blackened redfish. Mm-hmm. It says family-style macaroni and cheese, jalapeno creamed corn, soy-glazed Brussels sprouts, chipotle lime roasted sweet potatoes.
All right.
So you get your option. If you're a steak guy, you can go steak. If you're a fish guy, I can tell you blackened redfish is absolutely delicious.
Okay, so that's what you would take?
Mr. Ed Bird said it goes with steak.
I would take the steak.
I'd go fish. I'd go actually to fit blackened redfish is really good.
Okay, now let's go through the sides. Family-style macaroni and cheese or jalapeno.
You get all of it. But are you asking me which or?
Yeah.
Mr. Ed goes with family-style mac and cheese. I'd probably go with the mac and cheese, but the reason I consider this is the jalapeno cream corn sounds intriguing.
Okay.
But I feel like I'm going to come out of that going like, man, I should have ordered the mac. You eating all of that over there? You want to trade? I feel like I'm going to take one bite and maybe want to trade, where I feel like I'm going to be perfectly thrilled with my decision.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I probably would go with the cream corn because I feel like the family-style macaroni and cheese is going to be skillet mac and cheese.
Okay.
Where not a huge fan of that. All right, so soy glazed Brussels sprouts or chipotle lime roasted sweet potatoes.
Soy glazed Brussels sprouts.
Okay.
That one ain't even close.
Going with the Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts, what an amazing comeback from our childhood, right? Nobody ever. It was the thing that you would
I don't feel like our parents knew how to cook Brussels sprouts.
They didn't. Absolutely, they did not. Because all you would just see is like slimy something.
Yeah.
And, matter of fact, it was just a joke. Brussels sprouts were a punchline. Like, what are they going to feed? Brussels sprouts?
Yeah.
This is the worst thing ever. Okay. I will go. I'll take the Brussels sprouts also. Now to the important part. Dessert.
I feel like he went bland here.
Warm chocolate chip skillet cookie with vanilla bean ice cream. Did he go bland or did he go tried and true?
Well, let me ask you this, because I put out my little menu yesterday, not enough characters for Twitter/X to be able to do it. But I would have gone with a warm brownie, chocolate brownie with vanilla ice cream. He went chocolate chip cookie. So my question is, what is the better with ice cream for your final dessert, the brownie or the cookie? I don't think it's a question. I go brownie hands down.
Hands down.
To me, I'll die on this hill. I'm ready to fight on the brownie versus the cookie with the ice cream.
Brownies are awesome. Brownies a la mode, awesome. Love them. I think I'm gonna go with the chocolate chip skillet.
Okay.
Skillet cookie. I think I'm gonna go with it. In the big skillet cookie, you put the scoop of ice cream in the middle.
See, a good brownie, a good warm brownie with ice cream on it. You can't go wrong there. See, the cookie. I know what you're saying, but I don't feel like the cookie holds as well.
Understood.
Or doesn't hold. It's not
Fair.
holding. But,
I would not turn down either. Let me be very clear on that.
you got anything? You got anything that you would throw in there?
No.
Low country shrimp? Anything? I
wouldn't throw anything. I just want to evaluate his choices, and you get to learn a lot about a person based on the choices and seeing what they're doing. So this is a solid menu. It's cool.
803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in. Billy from Blythewood says, not just vanilla bean. Big
It's
difference.
True. Very, very, very true, which I did learn the difference yesterday.
Hour 2 on the way. Bill Gunner for the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder, and First Palmetto Bank. Now, I know that you're probably watching some interest rates right now, keeping an eye on how things are going. But one of the things that you need to do is call the mortgage guru. If you're thinking about refinancing, purchasing a home, moving, doing one of the things, the very first thing you need to do is call Jacob Crowder and see what the interest rates are, see what your down payment could be on a certain price, see how much money you'll need to pay each month. All those important questions that maybe you don't think of right away. But Jacob Crowder, the mortgage guru, is there to help you and ready to help you. So give him a phone call, 803-719-1005. Again, that's 803-719-1005. That's how you can reach out to him, get in touch with him, speak with him about the interest rates. And again, things like the down payment, what the monthly mortgage payment is, the interest rates, those are all very important things. So call First Palmetto Bank and Jacob Crowder today, 803-719-1005. Things picking up just a little bit out there, so let's try and drive safely on your Thursday morning. Don't swerve off the road thinking about that menu that we just suggested from Scotty Scheffler. You've got a incident at Alpine and Percival Road, also Highway 1 near I-20. So we got a couple accidents going on right there. Again, Alpine Road and Percival, Highway 1 near I-20 also. Again, we got some disabled vehicles. I-20 eastbound at exit 55 and I-77 northbound at Forest Drive. Again, I-20 eastbound at exit 55 and I-77 northbound at Forest Drive. Again, the weather today, we're expecting a little bit of wind, cloudy, and a chance of rain. The high just 66. We'd be clear tonight with a low of 30. There's your weather report from 107.5 The Game. For trying to define this series. It's obviously a big series. You're going to play a top 3 team. You're 1-2 in conference. You try and figure we have to be realistic and say that we're the underdog in this thing.
Absolutely. That's very clear.
And so yeah, I don't want to be, I know we tend to be overly dramatic here at times, although as we learned during basketball season, maybe, although neither South Carolina or LSU ended up getting into the NIT tournament. So
rephrase that. We declined. We got in there.
Did we?
We declined the invitation. Rephrase that, sir.
Okay.
We declined the
I
invitation.
never actually saw an invitation to decline. I have declined going to the Masters dinner. Just in case an invitation may come.
Yeah, I looked at my calendar. Don't think I'm going to be able to make it.
Yeah. Got to check with the wife on that one. Yeah, we'll continue to discuss that. But no, big baseball series and how we judge that in Paul Mainieri's first year, because I feel like it's important. I don't feel like starting let's worst case scenario, you go and you get swept.
Right.
And you're sitting there at 1-5. Obviously, if you can go out there and win the series, maybe it changes the momentum of the season a little bit for you.
You know, the question I always ask is what do we know about this team? I still have not been able to solidify what I think I know about this team because they've won games in a variety of ways. We've seen them lose a lot of close games. Haven't seen them really lose in a blowout fashion this season. So can they not win a close one? Are they just a couple plays away? I haven't been able to make that determination yet. This series for me personally will go a little bit further in helping me figure out who and what I think this team is for the rest of the year.
So, yeah, again, I've got to look. This next stretch of games for them is massive because we talked about the Arkansas series, and certainly, again, that's huge, and that's, as Paul Mainieri would tell you, and he'd probably be mad at us for, like, looking ahead slightly right now, but you talk about the Arkansas series, Arkansas's 3. You know who you play next weekend? Number 1.
Well, yeah, actually, Bill, I don't know who we play next weekend because I am focused on one series at a time, so I'm not looking forward. I'm only focused on this Arkansas series, sir.
Okay, I don't play and or coach. I talk. And you play Arkansas this weekend. You got a midweek game against number 17 North Carolina, and that'll be followed up with a 3-game set against number 1 Tennessee. And that's murderers. You're right now, as things stand today, as things stand at this moment, South Carolina will have opened the first 9 games of conference play against Oklahoma. Was 13 last week. They're 10 now. And D1 Baseball, D1Baseball.com.
Yeah, and there's something to this, right? There's a difference between, yes, we know all the games in the SEC are going to be tough, but that's different than playing the best teams in the SEC, right? You can play teams in the SEC. We're in the SEC. We're at the bottom of the SEC right now, according to preseason rankings. I hear you. But, yes, it's a murderer's row of playing the top of the top teams early in the season. So I guess we'll find out what we're working with. Or maybe we won't find out. I don't know. That's why I'm a little bit hesitant. Maybe it's because I'm in the bag for Palmer. I'm not sure yet. I need maybe another series or two just to figure out what I think of this team.
I think everybody would be kind of okay with stuff if you don't want to run the risk. The first 9 games, are you trying to come out 3-6 and feel like you survived? That's basically 1-2 in each series.
But does that sound like loser language?
I don't know with this team. That's why I'm kind of asking, because I think we are all now cognizant. I think we're all now cognizant of the fact that this might be a good team, but they've got flaws. They've got flaws. One of the guys that is not a flaw right now is Ethan Petrie. Last night on Carolina Calls, Paul Maneri. Paul Maneri talked about Ethan Petrie's season so far.
Playing that real well. We got a lot of, I won't say a lot of old guys, because, I'm one of the oldest in the room now. It's kind of crazy, but, they're going to fit in real well.
Yep.
Everybody's just competing for a spot. So, we just going to help the young guys as much as we can. They messing up, we're going to tell them what's wrong.
All right, hold on. That's Nick Harbor.
We're not the type of people you
Ethan,
messing up.
we want to hear.
We all family around here. So, I'm helping.
All right, we're going to come back to Nick Harbor in just a second. Let's go with Cut 12, producer Ed there. Let's hear from Paul Maneri last night talking about Ethan Petrie. All right, we're just not. Yeah, okay. We're not going to get to that. We're just going to completely mess it up. Ethan Petrie, though, we know he's a good player. He's got to continue to perform at a high level for them to go through this stretch.
Well, we talked about him approaching historical numbers, him approaching records, him doing things like that. That's something that he's going to have to continue to do in order for the team to win games.
All right, real quick, let's hear from Paul Maneri last night talking about Ethan Petrie.
From the time, literally from the very day that I was offered the job by Ray, I talked to Ethan Petrie on the phone, and he's just an amazing young man. He doesn't care where he plays. He doesn't care where he bats in the order. He doesn't care about anything except for seeing the team do well. And he's always trying to help out his teammates, giving them little tips that he sees out there in the ball game. He's just a remarkable young man. He really is, and an outstanding ball player. And, the only thing sometimes that I have a problem with Ethan is I tell him every time you take a strike, it's a lost opportunity. So I don't want you taking any strikes. If they throw it in the strike zone, I want you taking a whack at it and try to hit it over the batter's eye in center field. So I'm trying to get him to walk less and hit more, if you know what I'm saying.
Mr. First Baseman, Mr. All-State selection, walk less, hit more.
I like it, man. You're never going to hear anybody say, hey, coach, you want me to swing more? Great. That sounds awesome. I mean, Ethan seems to be very surgical and precise with his things. And another thing I'm learning about Paul Maneri is he doesn't want guys with their bats on their shoulders. He wants you to swing and make opportunities. I've never actually heard a coach say that. The more strikes you miss is a missed opportunity. But that's a confidence level that he has in him. So that's probably something he's going to have to keep continuing to preach for Ethan. But that's something to look out for. Yeah, every time Ethan swings the bat, the game can change, and he wants him to do that more often.
So we'll see. We'll continue to talk about that. Obviously, not just going into the weekend, but mention that the North Carolina midweek game next week, as well as the Tennessee series. It's a wild start for South Carolina. Also, in hour one, we talked a little bit about the football team. Yesterday, spring practice got underway, and let's play that clip now to clip 3. This is Nick Harbor yesterday talking about the wide receiver room. That's a room that's going to be really fascinating to watch over the next 14 practices. And here's Nick Harbor talking about that wide receiver room.
Playing that real well. We got a lot of, I won't say a lot of old guys, because, I'm one of the oldest in the room now. It's kind of crazy, but, they're going to fit in real well. Everybody's just competing for a spot. So, we just going to help the young guys as much as we can. They messing up, we're going to tell them what's wrong. We're not them type of people, you messing up, we ain't going to tell you. We all family around here. So, I'm helping the young guys as much as I can, like I'm doing, today, some things happen, you just got to correct them on it. They in high school still, so, they got to get their feet wet. So, I'm going to help as much as I can.
What was it like for you going into that transition, kind of being a sophomore and then going into being a junior where you became one of the old guys in the room?
Yeah, well, you just know how things operate around. You understand how the drills work. You've had a year with the coach. You understand those different types of things. If you choose to be a vocal leader, that's when you can probably vocalize. You're probably first in line for the drills. You're leading everybody around. There is a distinct difference between how you operate as a younger player as opposed to an older player.
803-404-6100. That's how you can weigh in if you want to be a part of the program. We talked a little bit about that. And let's hear it again if you didn't hear it in hour number one. This is Nick Harbor yesterday talking about track being done for the year because, as Preston and I discussed, this is a chance for him to develop and grow. Here's Nick Harbor yesterday talking about being done with track for the year.
That track don't work like that. If you're not in there, no, if I wanted to come back to track, I'll be coming back right now. You can't just, do a whole football season. I'll say whole spring ball, and then just try to go run without no running before that. So, I think my track for this year is done. So, yeah.
And again, the part about that, Preston, as we're kind of talking about, he saw success towards the end of the season. He saw things paying off. And what now it feels like is he's going all in. This is it. You almost wonder if he's looking at it like, I'm going to have this year and go to the NFL. I'm going to develop into that guy who's a 50 or 60 or 70 catch guy and make my money now because otherwise what is the next Olympics that he can run in? The 2028 Olympics, I believe, is am I right on that?
That's far away.
Does that seem right?
That's far away.
But my point is for track, and you mentioned that you might have to start training next year and going through all the prelims and everything.
Yeah, track is a very precision-based, and if you saw the times that he was running, he was a distance off from the top times, the Olympic times. Even though he was good in the SEC, the times that he was running, he needed to improve greatly. And what's the real big difference is it's going to be body composition. Everybody was saying that he would need to slim down, lose some of that mass that he has in order to maybe gain some of that time on the track. And that's the opposite of what they want to do as far as football is concerned. So I always assumed that this was going to be a time. I think this is his stake in the road, his fork in the road, and this is where he's going to choose football.
803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in. Going back to our Masters food discussion. Texter says, swap the cookie for a piece of apple pie and vanilla ice cream.
Listen, I do not object to any of these, but if I'm going start, bench, cut, I'm going to cut apple pie.
Ooh.
If I'm going start, bench, cut, cookie, brownie, apple pie, I'm cutting apple pie.
I'd probably go start brownie, bench cookie. No, bench apple pie, cut the cookie.
It's fine. Listen, you can apple pie can still make plays on my team. You're just over here.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
You didn't see that behind you, did you? I don't know what just happened, but we'll have to go back and look on the live stream. That moved when you said that.
I heard it. But I'm focused, Bill.
David weighs in. I'm with Bill. Give me the warm brownie. I'd imagine that would be a supreme version of a Russia's hot fudge cake milkshake.
I like it.
And John weighs in and says, sounds like Scotty's trying to make past champions have an upset stomach for the first round.
My tummy hurts. I can't quite play as effectively as I thought I would.
803-404-6100. We'll come back. All right, we're going to make our first bracket selections. We're going to walk you through the South bracket. We have our picks in, or I have my picks in. We'll get into that a little bit this morning as we get you going. 803-404-6100. We'll give you our picks. See, I think we're going to do West to start. We're going to do West.
West and the South.
I got the West and the South already picked. All right, we're going to do the West and the South when we come back. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for Corley Pool Solutions. The weather's warming up. It's getting about that time that backyard pool, you're going to be ready to use it. But if you're not maintaining it already, you're already behind. Don't wait any longer. Contact Corley Pool Solutions today, 803-445-8109. Again, that's 803-445-8109. At Corley Pool Solutions, they believe in providing the absolute highest quality swimming pool service at the most affordable price to you and your family. So give them a phone call today and check out their flat rate pricing, including all of the chemicals. Again, that's 803-445-8109. Again, it is more affordable to use Corley Pool Solutions than it is for you to try and go and maintain your pool yourself. So call them today and learn more about this. They've been in business for over 20 years, and there's a reason for that. 803-445-8109. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you. All right. Y'all are not doing good this morning at all. We got accidents piling up out there. Alpine Road at Percival Road, Fairway at Alpine, Highway 1 near I-20, Watling Road at US 1. So that's four. That's four in like an hour and 20 minutes this morning. How about we try and drive a little bit safer? There's nowhere you got to be. It's that important. Drive safe, both hands on the wheel. Alpine Road at Percival, Fairway at Alpine, Highway 1 near I-20, and Watling Road at US 1. Also, still got those disabled vehicles hanging around out there. I-20 eastbound at exit 55 and I-77 northbound at Forest Drive. So it's getting busy out there. Be safe, hang out, and think about that warm brownie over that chocolate cookie. You'll get to work safely.
Well, first of all, I've been blessed for a long period of time, 50 years of coaching, 50 plus years of coaching. And I think I look at it this way. I don't know if God will bless me with 2, 3, 4 more years, but if he does, I know it's going to stop. So why not have a blast? Why not get the most out of it? Why not laugh, have fun, get great experiences? Because, early years wasn't like that. It was, you're trying to move up the ladder. You're trying to accomplish certain things collectively with the team, yourself. Now I don't have to move up the ladder. I don't have to look for another job. I don't have any dreams of coaching elsewhere. So it's just fun. You have fun with your guys. It's laughter. It's all the great things. But I do know it's coming to an end.
That is the words of St. John's coach Rick Pitino, Preston Thorne.
As hard as you try. Despite his glorious past, maybe his dubious misdealings, still kind of a likable dude.
He is. I have had one interaction in my lifetime with him. He was scary, but nice.
There's also that too. There's also a little bit of that. All right, am I going to
felt like I had to back away looking at him. I didn't want to turn my back from him, but he was super nice. And
also, there might have been like somebody watching you watching him.
Yeah, it was kind of like keeping an eye on that guy over there. Mm-hmm. All right, let's do some picks here. All right, we're going to start with speaking of him, let's start with the West region. And let's start at the top here. So we're in the West. These games will be played tomorrow and Sunday. Tomorrow, actually, the bottom games are played today and Saturday. But let's start with today's games. Here's how we're going to do this. We're going to do this. Let's start with the bottom portion of it. Missouri and Drake. Now, this is one we've labeled as big for the SEC. Missouri 22-11, a 6 seed taking on Drake 30-3, 11 seed.
Yeah, I want to be SEC homer. Drake seems to have be fashionable right now. Give me Drake.
I also went with Drake. All right, so we both have got that. Next up, this will be played today. Texas Tech. This is the last game tonight, by the way, like 10-10. Texas Tech and UNC Wilmington.
Have no idea of either. Give me the chalk.
I took that as well. So we both have Drake and Texas playing on Saturday. Let's move to that game real quick. Drake and Texas with a chance to go to the Sweet 16.
As I said, Drake seems to be favorable. Give me Drake.
I went Texas Tech, so I got Texas Tech in the Sweet 16. Let's go down to Kansas and Arkansas. And I tell you what, Mr. Ed, producer Ed, let's play real quick number 17. Number 17 here, because this kind of plays into my into what my pick's going to be. Number 17, this is John Calipari yesterday.
Did you get a haircut?
I did, yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Does it look good?
No, but go ahead.
Well.
Kansas and Arkansas. That game will be tonight. It'll be really good. I'm excited about that one. Kansas 21-12, 7 seed. Arkansas 20-13.
Give me Arkansas.
I got Kansas.
Okay.
John Calipari's not paying enough attention to what his team's doing. They're banged up. Give me Kansas in that one. Then that takes us to Mr. Rick Pitino. St. John's 30-4, a 2 seed taking on 15 Omaha.
Give me St. John's.
All right, so that takes us. You've got Arkansas and St. John's. I have Kansas and St. John's to get to the Sweet 16.
I'm taking St. John's.
All right, I did too. I got St. John's over Kansas. So this takes us to that bottom portion of the bracket. You have Drake against St. John's. I've got Texas Tech and St. John's. Mm-hmm. Who you got?
St. John's.
St. John's it is. I go Texas Tech in the upset. Texas Tech to the Elite Eight. Let's go to the top of the bracket now. These will be played Friday, Sunday. Florida, Norfolk State.
Florida.
Okay. Here's a big one that you were talking about. Connecticut, Oklahoma.
I would like to see Oklahoma win this for several reasons. SEC, and also let's get Dan Hurley out of here.
So are you taking them? Or you just want to see it?
Well, I'll take them.
Okay.
I'll take them.
I got Connecticut in that one. 5-12. These are always those upset games. Memphis against Nico Medved's Colorado State. Nico Medved being mentioned heavily for the Minnesota job. May have even already taken it, and I just haven't missed it.
Well, based on what we know, he probably has taken it. Give me them.
You got Colorado State?
Give me them.
I also took them as well. Maryland and Grand Canyon. Maryland, the 4 seed out of the Big Ten. Maryland and Grand Canyon.
Give me Maryland.
I also have Maryland. Let's go back to the top. Florida, and you've got Oklahoma.
Yep. Give me Florida.
I took Florida as well. We both have Florida in the Sweet 16. I had them over at UConn, by the way. Colorado State and Maryland. Nico Medved against Maryland.
Sure. Colorado State.
Okay, so Preston right now, by the way, for those paying attention, Preston would have Drake, the 11 seed, in the Sweet 16, and the 12 seed, Colorado State, in the Sweet 16. I got Maryland. Florida against Colorado State for you.
Florida.
I go Florida versus Maryland. Maryland knocks them off. I've got Maryland, Texas Tech in the Elite Eight next weekend. I go Maryland. Maryland to the Final Four. You've got Florida against St. John's. Patino.
Give me Pitino.
You're going Patino. All right. So out of that bracket, Preston.
But let me just a quick note of analysis. I do think Rick Pitino is probably the best X's and O's guy here.
Okay.
And so if you have to rely on coaching experience, I'll take that.
Okay. All right, so you've got St. John's coming out of the West. Let's go to the South here, and we'll kind of motor through these here. I tell you what, let's do this, Preston. You want to hit a break and come back, and we'll get into that. This will make it a little bit easier. Let's hit a break. We'll come back. We'll give you our South region picks. We've got those ready to go, and we'll get to those here in the next segment. Coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to do the East and the Midwest. But coming up next, we'll give you the South region breakdown. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, producer Ed Bird. It's the early game. Bill Gunner for Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. It is still Spring Cleaning Month, National Spring Cleaning Month. Haven't heard of it? Well, that's because I made it up, but it should be something. And right now, when you contact Zerorez, what they're patented is ZR water technology, scientifically proven to keep the carpets, the rugs, the tile, the upholstery all insanely clean. That's what Zerorez will do for you. They will not leave behind a sticky, soapy residue that affects your kids or your animals playing on it. Call Zerorez and take advantage of their spring sale. Mention me, Bill Gunner, 107.5 The Game, to get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $119 plus a free hallway. You heard that right. 3 rooms of carpet clean for $119 plus a free hallway when you call 803-262-4020 or schedule online, ZerorezColumbia.com. Zerorez, spell it backwards or forwards, is the right way to clean. All right. We've gotten a couple things cleared up here. Those disabled vehicles, they're gone. So don't worry about those. No more disabled vehicles on the roadway. We've cleaned those up. We still have accidents out there for you. Alpine Road at Percival, Fairway at Alpine Road. So Alpine Road, not a great drive right now. Be careful there. Highway 1 near I-20, still got an incident. And Watling Road at US 1. So try and be safe out there. Alpine Road at Percival, Fairway at Alpine, and then Highway 1 near I-20 and Watling Road at US 1 are the current incidents. Windy and cloudy today. Chance of showers. High of 66. Clear tonight. Low of 39. You're listening to 107.5 The Game. Rolling along here on your Thursday morning. Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, producer Ed Bird. We got a lot going on here, and want to let you know that tomorrow, and you'll get a chance today. You get a chance today to win tickets to South Carolina's NCAA women's basketball games coming up tomorrow, and we're going ahead and giving away tickets for Sunday, Preston. That's confidence right there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I think we're good with that.
All right, yeah, tomorrow and Sunday. We're going to give them away today. That'll be sponsored by the Anna. Go ahead. Who's it sponsored by?
Anastapulo.
Anastapulo Law Firm. Don't scream, call Akeem. Just dial 800 all 7. So, again, we'll give you a chance to win those tickets later on today. 803-404-6100. We'll get to our West bracket, our South bracket, in just a minute. But first, give us a phone call, 803-404-6100. We'll take caller 6 and 8. Caller 6 and 8, and we will give away 2 teams again, one for each caller. One for each caller. Caller 6 gets a team. Caller 8 gets a team. This is part of our 107.5 The Game bracket challenge. Give us a phone call. Caller 6, caller 8, you'll get a team. 803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in if you want to do so. Let's go to the South region. Preston Thorne. These games will be played today and Saturday. We'll start with the top seeds. Auburn takes on Alabama State.
Auburn versus Alabama, you said? Or
throw in a state behind it.
Oh, well, give me Auburn then.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Really good game today. It'll be the first one that gets going, 12:15. Louisville and Creighton.
Best game of the first round?
Of the first round? Oh.
Maybe.
Let me come back to that.
Okay.
That's a great question.
This
I might have to give you that. We might have to throw that in there somewhere. 5 best games of the first round that you simply can't miss. Who are you going with? Louisville and Creighton.
I'm going to go with Louisville.
I love Pat Kelsey. Pat, when he was at Winthrop and College Charleston, man, I pull for that guy. Give me the Cardinal in that one. Michigan and UC San Diego.
Shout out to Mike Boynton, assistant coach at Michigan. Let me get Michigan.
I really want to take. I have no clue. I couldn't tell you anything about UC San Diego. As a matter of fact, I should have looked it up during the break and seen what their mascot is. They're 30-4. I got Michigan because I know nothing about UC San Diego. It's pretty simple. Texas A&M and Yale.
I've seen some chatter about Yale. I've seen Texas A&M in person. I'm going to lean on my SEC bias here, but don't be surprised.
Don't tell me to not be surprised to not take them.
I'm still going to take Texas A&M.
Okay, I go Yale. Ooh. I've got the upset. Listen, if you're paying attention to what I'm doing here, and this is just through 2 sides of the bracket, and it's gonna increase here in a minute. The SEC's not doing well in my bracket.
This would lead to great conversation.
The SEC's not doing well in my bracket. All right, Michigan. I've got Michigan. Yale. Let's go back to the top here. These games will be played on Saturday. Auburn, Louisville.
Give me Louisville.
Okay. Boy, that would really continue to break the SEC. A 1 seed goes down. I got Auburn getting there. You've got Michigan, Texas A&M, SEC, and Big Ten.
Give me Texas A&M.
Okay, I went Michigan to knock off Yale. That gives me Auburn, Michigan. You've got Louisville and Michigan to go to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, give me. Let's ride this train. Let's go with Louisville.
Ooh, Pat Kelsey in year one, bringing the Cardinal back to the Elite Eight. All right, so we got one side of the bracket. These games, these next set will be played Friday, Sunday. Mississippi and North Carolina. We circled this. Big game for the SEC, in my opinion. You really need to win this one.
Big game, and I don't think Mississippi wins. Give me North Carolina.
I don't either. I've got the SEC just flaming out in this thing here.
What a conversation that will be.
Badly. So we both got North Carolina. Iowa State and Lipscomb, who we discovered yesterday is from Nashville.
Yeah, give me Iowa State.
Yeah, I like Iowa State as well. North Carolina and Iowa State to go to the Sweet 16.
North Carolina.
I got Iowa State.
I like this idea.
All right, you got North Carolina making a run now. Hubie Davis. Oh, Hubert making a run. 9-1, by the way. 9-1. Barstool Sports put that out. 9-1 against the spread in the NCAA tournament games are the Tar Heels under Hubert Davis. Bottom half of that bracket. Marquette, your guy, Shaka Smart, against New Mexico. You know who the coach for New Mexico is?
Is it Richard Pitino?
Yes, sir, you are correct.
Well, this is an easy choice then. Give me Richard Pitino and them boys.
I got Marquette and going. I don't blame you. Michigan State and Bryant. Bryant, we learned, was from Rhode Island yesterday.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Give me Izzo. Izzo's back. Izzo's back.
I'm gonna preview what's about to happen. Yeah, okay. He is. All right. New Mexico. Well, I think you're gonna follow the same way. New Mexico and Michigan State.
Give me Izzo.
All right, so Michigan State. I got Michigan State, Iowa State in the Sweet 16. What have you've got North Carolina, Michigan State. Who you got going to the Elite Eight?
Give me Izzo.
You're going Izzo. All right, both of us there. I've got Michigan State over Iowa State as well. So this takes us to the Elite Eight, chance to go to the Final Four. I got Auburn, Michigan State. SEC needs to win this one. Maybe get a team into the Final Four. You said it. Tom Izzo's back. My Final Four on that side of the bracket is Michigan State and Maryland. The SEC is shut out by the Big Ten.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Michigan State, Maryland there. You've got Michigan State and Louisville.
Yeah, and that's where Louisville's run ends. Give me Michigan State.
Both of us with Michigan State in the Final Four. I've got Michigan State, Maryland. Preston, coming out of the South and the West, has Michigan State and St. John's coming out there. All right, you look at these. You look at that. Anything that really catches you on as we look at our sheets. I look at my sheet, the left side of the bracket.
Well, I think the interesting thing is here, if North Carolina makes a run, that maybe that nullifies the argument that they shouldn't have been.
It would. Yep.
That's that. As we've been stating, SEC has to play well during this tournament because as I stated again, I do not think 14 teams is justified for any conference. That's ridiculous. However, if they were to make a run in the tournament and all the teams were to play well, then they could have that. They may have some justification. If things go according to the way you think it goes, the way I think it goes, it should rightfully be a lot of conversation about SEC getting over too many teams on these brackets.
Both of these sides, South has Auburn, West has Florida. Both have 1 seeds that are SEC teams. Neither would have made the tournament, and that to me would be really interesting. I tell you what, producer Ed, let's hear from Bruce Pearl, who talked about. This is coach speak at its absolute finest, I believe, right here. This is Bruce Pearl. I believe 16. They're only 6 wins away.
We worked hard for that overall number 1 seed to survive the SEC this year as regular season champions, to look at the non-conference and having beaten Houston at Houston, having won the Maui Invitational, lost in a close game at Duke, our only loss in non-conference, and to have beaten Purdue and Ohio State on neutral courts. We earned that through the regular season. But that's in the past right now. And we're 6 wins away from achieving what our real goal is, and that is to try to win the national championship. We recognize that at any stop, including tomorrow, we could lose. We're going to do everything we possibly can to not.
I'll never forget, Preston, and I don't know if you've ever had just great coach speak given to you. You did have the great Lou Holtz, because we're just 6 wins away. Makes it sound so simple. He forgot, he left out a key word. 6 consecutive wins away. Because I'll never forget my father one time in a church league basketball game I was playing, and we might have stacked our team to take on the other teams, and we got up 24 points, and my father didn't know what to say to us in the huddle, so he said, guys, They're 12 quick baskets away from tying it up.
12 baskets, man. It can happen. Hey, listen.
To which me and a buddy looked and was like, we've given up 3 baskets the whole game. They're going to get 12 quick ones on us?
Listen, not just 12 quick ones. It can happen. It can happen. I want to just point this out to Bruce Pearl. I understand that you are 6 games away, but you have lost 3 out of your last 4. So
they're just 6.
Wins haven't been easy for you to come by in the last month or so. So that's just something to think about.
6 quick ones.
Just
6 consecutive, because, that's so easy in the NCAA tournament. 803-404-6100. We'll come back. It's a Preston segment. And another thing.
This story has legs, Bill.
We will give you the breakdown. It is the early game. Bill Gunner for the Ecton Law Firm. Tax season is here, and oh boy, are you maybe concerned. Maybe you're thrilled. I don't know. Whichever one it is, but let me tell you right now, if you've received a mean, nasty notice from the IRS, you need to call the Ecton Law Firm, and you need to call them today and let them help you out. They've helped thousands of families just like yours navigate the IRS maze, and they are ready to help you do the exact same thing. So give them a phone call today and schedule a free consultation. That's right. You can get a free consultation, whether you're here in Columbia, Florence, Myrtle Beach, Aiken, Augusta, wherever you may be. The Ecton Law Firm is ready to help you with proven local solutions. So make that phone call, 803-771-9800. Again, that's 803-771-9800. Give the Ecton Law Firm a call today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you. Lot going on here today and tomorrow. So let me give you a rundown of what's taking place here with 107.5 The Game. Let's start with today. Coming up at 9 to 12, Gamecock Central will take over Firehouse Subs, 633 Main Street in Columbia. So if you want to go hang out with Tyler, with the boys from Gamecock Central, you can head over to the downtown area, Firehouse Subs, 633 Main Street here in Columbia. And then 12 to 6 today, go hang out with Terry, Elijah, with Jay. 12 to 6, they'll be at Twin Peaks in the Vista. That's right, watching all the basketball action, and you can go and hang out with them. Twin Peaks in the Vista, 12 to 6 today. Now, coming up tomorrow, we got more action, 12 to 6, right back at Twin Peaks. You'll want to be there. And then coming up tomorrow night, 7:15 pregame, 7:30 first pitch for South Carolina baseball against Arkansas. So we got a lot going on. Want to keep you updated on everything. Make sure you tune in to 107.5 The Game.
You can bring us in with that.
Yeah, and obviously the process, is the process on how it plays out. And, as you're going through their season, they were, very respectful of making sure that my focus continued to be on our team and certainly appreciated that.
And another thing, our semi-daily segment where we dig a little bit deeper into previous stories. That voice you just heard was new head coach Darian DeVries, new Indiana head coach Darian DeVries, talking about the process being the process. Bill, what does that statement mean?
You just we got an hour and 10 minutes left. We got a process.
The process is the process. Well, apparently Indiana University followed the process of hiring Darian DeVries because he accepted the job, if you remember, while the governor was campaigning against the National Corrupt Athletic Association.
I think the governor was like, "Hey, coach, I need you." He's like, "I got a Zoom call I got to make. I'll be there."
So they followed the process, but Bill, it gets even deeper. We know college sports were always up for a good conspiracy. Twitter account, X account, IUAnon 1976.
Oh, of course.
At IUAnon 1976 stated on March 12th that there's been a verbal agreement in place for almost a month. Then this account, which was a anonymous account, then this account further went on to say, "I'm not scared to say it. It's DeVries." This account calls themselves the source your favorite burner pretends to have. Ultra Mega Booster Insider Extraordinaire. Seriously, I actually know. IUAnon 1976 reported on March 12th that it was DeVries.
Right.
And here you have DeVries saying that Indiana was very respectful and the process was the process.
Yeah. Well, of course the process was the process.
Okay.
Indiana started looking for a coach.
Okay. They were respectful for him, and obviously he was coaching because obviously no coach would ever be taking any calls. There wouldn't be any tampering, would there be?
I don't think there was.
Okay. Here's where it gets deeper because I figured you would say that because you like the coaches. Well, do you know who the best player on West Virginia's team was this year?
His son,
Tucker DeVries. Mm-hmm. Do you know he did not play this year?
What was the initial injury?
Okay.
Because
he had an upper body.
Oh, he had an whole upper body.
He had an upper body injury. And he was deemed out for the season conveniently right before the day when the red shirt cutoff was. So he was able to maintain his red shirt, was held out for the remainder of the season.
When was that?
This is in the last week of February, in which IUAnon stated that a previous agreement has been in place for a month. Now, remember, he stated this on March 12th. So he said this agreement had been in place for a month, which conveniently leads us to when Tucker DeVries, the best player, took himself out or was held out or was remained out for his red shirt.
All right, so wait a minute. Walk me through that timeline again, if you don't mind, and then I'm going to counter-argue with a secondary timeline.
Okay.
Walk me through what you got there.
Tucker DeVries is hurt.
Beginning of the season.
Beginning of the season.
Okay.
He's rehabbing, and then he's held out, announced that he's announced for the remainder of the season. That's in February.
Well, hold on. So
IUAnon announces.
Puts on Twitter
on March 12th. That there has been an agreement in place for a month.
So we'll just say February.
Back to February.
February 12th ish. Okay.
All right. An account, this agreement has been in place with Darian for at least a month, according to this anonymous source.
Okay. All right. Now, Tucker DeVries, they declare he is redshirting on what day?
We don't have the date, but it was before the February, the cutoff date, which is in February. I don't have the specific.
By the way, I'd like to get more on that because I thought once you play, I didn't know there was a cutoff date.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you know? I'm gonna agree with you, but I'm not gonna agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
So March 12th, for a month, an agreement had been in place. Mike Woodson announced, and Indiana announced he was stepping down on February the 7th.
Oh, okay.
Now, where I disagree with you, Darian DeVries might have had one conversation with his agent, and his agent might have been, "Hey, if say hypothetically, Indiana called and there was a number that enticed you, what would that number be?" And Darian DeVries is like, $5 million, and his agent goes, "Okay." Darian DeVries maybe didn't know he was supposed to take the job until March the 12th, and then his agent came to him and was like, "Hey, you remember when we had that discussion about the money that you might want to go to Indiana? They offered it. You've got the job."
That's called tampering. The actual tampering. Not the tampering that these coaches are complaining about. Also, Will Wade, lame duck coach, just took a job from NC State, and now he's going to be coaching in the tournament for another team. Welcome to the world, folks. Also, Tucker DeVry will have transferred from Drake to West Virginia, and he's going to Indiana with his pops. I don't want to hear anything from these coaches.
Another hour next. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing, where for nearly 30 years they have been the leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. And for 30 years, that's a long, long time. That is the type of proven history that you want, that provides assurance that their professionals will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility. And they're going to do it in a manner both safe and pleasing to you and your operation. So whether it's a high-rise or a hospital, manufacturing or industrial, Mid-State Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that'll keep your operation dry and running long into the future. Give them a phone call, 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. You can give them a phone call today and speak with them. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they have someone ready to take your phone call. So if you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. All right, good news. You've cleaned things up just a tad. That's a good start. Right now, just 2 accidents to report. Fairway at Alpine Road is one that you want to avoid. And then also, right now I'm being told that we're still an accident at Watling at US 1, but we did get a text message in from a thank you to a texter who said the accident at Watling at US 1 is gone at the intersection now. So the good news is we've got on-location reporters giving you a breakdown of what's going on. So just one to report right now. Fairway at Alpine Road today. Windy and cloudy, chance of rain, high of 66. Good day for you to head on over to Twin Peaks and hang out with Terry and Jay and the group and watch some basketball. You're listening to the early game. So much going on NCAA tournament Thursday. And guess what? Tomorrow, it'll be the women's time to kick things off with NCAA tournament Friday. And continue to hang around and check out our social media pages today because we're going to give you a chance to win tickets to South Carolina women's basketball games tomorrow and Sunday. It's sponsored by the say it again, even though I just practiced it in the entire break.
Anastapulo
Law Firm. Anastapulo Law Firm. Don't scream. Call Akeem. You can dial 800 all sevens. But we're going to give you a chance to win NCAA women's basketball tournament tickets coming up Friday and Sunday. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to put it on social media. So if you'll follow our 1075 The Game Twitter account as well as follow Elijah Campbell, we're going to ask you to tell us your best excuses for a day off, Preston. Since the game's at 4 o'clock, what is your best excuse to take the day off when you need one?
Oh, this. I'm gonna be honest. It's not my bag. It's not my bag. So I have to get creative with this one. There's always the tried and true kids, stomach. Nobody ever bothers that. The stomach's hurting. He's always sick. I don't know. This is interesting.
If you want your day, 803. Well, save it and continue. All right, I guess we can't do that because it's got to be part of the contest. It's got to be part of the contest. But we may circle back to that later on for your best excuse to get the day off. I have some theories on things you can and you cannot say, like things that you're not allowed to say. Also, if you're going to the game and there's the chance that you could end up on television, you got to take that into account. So it depends on what kind of day it is. But the say it again.
Anastapulo. It's a block. You have the yips.
I have the yips. And I got to play golf this weekend, and I have the yips on long putts too right now. The yips are.
I did last year. I have worked with the students at University of South Carolina. We did have a meeting. I did have a student say that they could not attend the meeting. I did see that student in the fountain after the women won the national championship.
Okay.
So,
but was it just as simple as, hey, I can't make it?
No, they gave a pretty elaborate excuse.
Okay, elaborate excuse. All right, well, we'll circle back to this. Put this down for next week.
I've seriously just managed to see that's such and such. Interesting.
Did you go put 2 feet in the fountain, stand next to him and splash some water and be like, hey, this is fun, isn't it?
It was fascinating. It was very interesting.
So, yeah. But the Anastapulo Law Firm sponsoring this ticket giveaway for the women's basketball games coming up on Friday and on Sunday. 803-404-6100. If you want to weigh in with us this morning as we get you up and get you going, a lot to discuss. We've talked a little bit about spring practice from football. And I tell you what, Mr. Ed Bird, let's listen to a little bit of Nick Harbor. Nick Harbor is going to participate fully in this upcoming spring practice. And the one thing about that is good is it gives him a chance to really develop. And he talked a little bit yesterday about the benefits of being a full spring participant.
It'll do wonders. I don't have to come back in July or August and, try to ramp everything back up. I'm just smooth sailing, really going off of last year. So, yeah, I'm excited to do it.
The buy-in. you need a guy that buys in. And it feels like the success he had coming down the stretch has now created a buy-in that he wants to see what he can do. We want to see, but he wants to see.
Yeah, he's improved every year. First 12 catches his first year, 26 the next year. He's a junior now, as he stated earlier. This is a year for him to make a huge jump, and I think he sees that, and he sees that opportunity there, and that's what he's going to have to take. Last year during the spring, it was touted, he's going to be taking mental reps. He's coming in every practice. He's taking mental reps. Well, Nick doesn't need mental reps. Nick needs actual physical repetitions of playing football because he has not been a wide receiver his whole life. He's turning into a wide receiver, and he needs more opportunities to practice at that. So I think he saw that. Sure, there was a lot of, maybe not convincing, but a lot of, that's what you want to do, Nick. We're here for you. Sure, you can practice all the whole time.
How much do you think, this kind of popped into my head as I said, how much do you think he now looks around? And they brought in a highly touted group of wide receivers. Gidron is there. Malik Clark is there. I believe Lex Cyrus is there. Brian Rowe is there. Donovan Murph is on the way. Mazeo Bennett had a good year last year. Vandrevius Jacobs is a young guy that I really like. Jared Brown is back for another year. You get the point. Now, Jared Brown's proven. Mazeo Bennett, I think you can say, is proven. But, Preston, that wide receiver room, when I say all those names, there's a lot of competition. I don't know what's two or three guys max proven. The young guys haven't. But that's also got to play a part, right? As I think this out loud, Nick Harbaugh looking around being like, I can lose a lot of snaps to these guys if I don't get my butt in there and focus full time.
Yeah, absolutely. The buildup of the wide receiver room, those guys are coming to take his position, which is not necessarily solidified because – though those numbers were improving towards the end of the year, 26 quick catches is replaceable. So it's not as if there is no wide receiver one. Even though he might be anointed as that, the guy that has been there for a long time, these dudes are coming in to take that spot. So maybe he looked around and said, you know what, I got to tighten up and get ready and maybe take that position for himself.
So we've had a little bit of that this morning that we've gotten into. Also baseball with a big series coming up. And last night, cut number 14, Mr. Ed, Paul Mainieri talked about Arkansas being a huge road test for his team this coming weekend. Here's Paul Mainieri last night talking about how Arkansas will be a huge road test.
No question about it. It's much more challenging being on the road. There's no question about it. But if you want to win a championship in this league, you better be a road warrior because you're going to have to play in some difficult environments. And, listen, it's all in the past, but I've always enjoyed going to Fayetteville. The fans are into the game. Yep. It's a beautiful ballpark. We've had, some success there in the past years. So I'm not personally intimidated by the whole situation, and I don't think our players will be either. I think they'll relish the environment. They'll be happy to compete against a really good team. We'll have them ready to play, and hopefully we can come back with a couple of wins.
So those are the words there of Mr. Paul Mainieri as he gets his team ready for a big weekend coming up over in Fayetteville, and we'll talk more about that. And I think next week, Preston, we've kind of talked. Next week, is next week a turning point for the baseball team? Like we look at it and we go, Clemson series, Oklahoma series, Arkansas series. You got Tennessee, and then you kind of move on to a Mississippi State team that's not bad either. But yet, is next week kind of our take of, this is who this baseball team is?
I agree, yes. I do think that. I need a little more time. After this series, I'll have a better idea of what they're doing. Obviously, they'll be going into the game against North Carolina in the next series. Once they do that, we'll have a pretty good gauge on who they compete against, how they compete, can they win close games, etc., and we'll see what the team is for the rest of the year.
803-404-6100, how you can weigh in. When we come back, we will give you our East and Midwest bracket breakdown, as well as give you another chance to win or to receive two teams for the NCAA tournament as part of our 107.5 The Game bracket challenge. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. When it comes to HVAC replacements, let me tell you, there is nobody better than AAA Heating and Air. They are the go-to name here in the Midlands. And if you're looking for a great unit, I went with a Train unit about 2 years ago. It has saved money. It has been absolutely phenomenal. And the great folks at AAA Heating and Air took care of me. They'll do the exact same thing for you. With guaranteed financing, no payments or interest for 12 months, and a 15-year parts and labor warranty, you can feel comfortable having that brand new unit installed for a great price with a great warranty. So give them a phone call today, 803-677-1500. Again, that's 803-677-1500. And don't get stuck with a heating and air unit that's not working this summer. You know it's going to be hot. Call AAA Heating and Air today and tell them Bill Gunner told you to call them. 803-677-1500. That's AAA Heating and Air. All right. One incident to report here. I-20 eastbound at US 378. Again, that's I-20 eastbound at US 378. Also, thank you to a texter who weighed in about 14 minutes ago telling us there was a stalled vehicle on Gardner's Ferry Road in front of Lower Richland. Appreciate a little heads up there from out there on the road. So two little incidents, stalled vehicle at Gardner's Ferry in front of Lower Richland High School, and I-20 eastbound US 378. We have an incident. Coming up today, it's going to be windy, cloudy, chance of rain. You don't want to deal with that. Only a high of 66. Go hang out at Twin Peaks in the Vista with the guys and watch some basketball from 12 to 6 today. It'll be a lot of fun. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game. How about Bracket Mania? Bracket Mania. We're going to give you a chance to win right now. Or I say win, but we're going to give away the 2 teams remaining for this morning. I'm sure we'll continue to do this throughout the way. It's our 107.5 The Game Bracket Challenge. Call in now, and we are giving you 1 team each. We'll take callers 6 and 8. Each caller will get a team for our 107.5 The Game Bracket Challenge. If your team goes on to win the national championship, you will win season tickets for the rest of the Gamecock baseball season. So go ahead, call now. Producer Ed will take your phone call. We'll get callers 6 and 8, and you will get 2 selected team, or you get 1 selected team for the NCAA tournament. You're only allowed 1 team person. If you've won, don't call. Don't bother us. Also, want to remind you the 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Classic coming up. Not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, March the 28th at Charwood Golf Club in West Columbia. You can call Charwood today and sign up, 803-755-2000. $400 per team. It's $100 a person if you're trying to do the math on it. $400 per team. We'll tee off at 9:30 sharp next Friday morning. We'll have breakfast sausage ready for you when you come to the course. We'll be talking about the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. Hopefully, we'll be talking about the women's games. So come and hang out. Again, it's the 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Classic. This year, we're partnering up with the Lexington County Gamecock Club. Next Friday, March the 28th at Charwood Golf Club in West Columbia. $400 a team. Call today and get your foursome registered, 803-755-2000. That's how you can do that for our 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Classic. All right. Preston and I have given our South and West picks. South and West picks so far. We've both got Michigan State. Tom Izzo strides back into the Final Four, ready to go. I've got Maryland making the run. That's one of Terry Ford's teams, and he said I gave him the kiss of death. Preston goes with old Slick Rick Pitino and St. John's in the Final Four.
Going with the vets.
All right, so let's go to the East and the Midwest. Let's start in the East. That's the top bracket on my sheet here. And these will be games played. I tell you what, we'll just start from the top and go down here to make it easy on ourselves. Let's go with games played Friday and Sunday. Friday and Sunday, it'll start with Duke. And I just realized that I'm blanking. I don't know who won last night, American or Mount St. Mary's. I'm doing so much here, and I have no clue.
Take Duke.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Regardless.
Doesn't matter. I'm with Duke. Mississippi State, Baylor.
SEC.
Good. Okay, we're on the same page. Oregon, Liberty.
Revenge game against Oregon because they beat us last year. Give me Liberty.
That game's in Seattle. Liberty's got to go all the way across the country. I got Oregon. So you're going with Liberty Bibberty. Got it. Arizona, Akron.
I'm going to go chalk.
Yeah, this sets up just an intriguing former. Remember the old Pac-12 days of Oregon and Arizona?
Lute
just
Olson.
last year? Yeah. Lute Olson and Dana Altmaier. Mm-hmm. In Denver, coming up today and Saturday. Let's start with BYU and VCU.
Chalk. Even though I've read a little bit about VCU, I think they're good, but give me chalk.
I'm going VCU on this. I'm going VCU goes out there. Ryan Odom, the coach there at VCU, I think they get the job done. Wisconsin and Montana. 3-seed Wisconsin, 14-seed Montana.
Rolling with chalk.
I'm going Montana on this.
Two upsets.
Wisconsin plays that kind of game where when you get into the NCAA tournament like this, they don't make shots or something goes wrong and they end up losing. And also, I don't trust them in this situation. I got a VCU Montana round of 32 showdown. Another big one for the SEC. They are the lower seeded team, the 10 seed Vanderbilt taking on St. Mary's.
SEC.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you on this. I do think this is where the strength of schedule for Vanderbilt, the teams they've had to play, provides them an advantage. I'll take Vanderbilt with you. And that could set up a second-round showdown with another SEC team, Alabama.
Yes.
Okay.
It will.
All right. Both of us taking Alabama there over Robert Morris. By the way, we've been down on the SEC. That would have all 3 SEC teams getting out of the first round there: Mississippi State, Vandy, and Alabama. Let's go back to the top here and just go straight down. Duke, Mississippi State.
Give me Duke.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Duke's going to blow it somewhere, but I'm not sure where. Oregon, Arizona.
I have Liberty, Arizona, but give me Arizona.
Yeah. You've got Arizona. I've got Oregon. I've got Oregon getting past them. Duke, Oregon sounds like a fun matchup. They're in Newark in the East Regional in the Sweet 16. All right. You've got chalk. You've got BYU, Wisconsin.
Yes, and I'm not going to – I will abandon that, and I will go with BYU.
All right, BYU in the Sweet 16 for Preston. I'm going to go VCU. VCU goes back to their roots of old and makes a run. Vandy, Alabama.
Alabama.
I like that as well. Alabama into the Sweet 16. Again, we're doing the East bracket right now. Duke, you've got Arizona. Duke, Arizona to get to the Elite Eight. Duke rolls into the Elite Eight per Preston. I've got VCU. By the way, I've got Duke, Oregon. I got Duke there as well. You've got BYU, Alabama.
Give me Alabama.
He goes Alabama. I've got Alabama, VCU there in the Sweet 16. I'm going to go Alabama as well. All right. We both ended up with the same Elite Eight team. The third team in our Final Four, Duke or Alabama?
SEC. Give me Bama.
I am in full agreement. We are in lockstep on that. Both of us have Alabama as our third team in the Final Four. Finally, the SEC team stands up, lives up to the hype, and gets there. Good job, Nate Oates. All right, let's go to the Midwest, bottom half of the right corner bracket here. We'll just go top to bottom. Houston and SIU Edwardsville.
Give me Houston.
I'm not even – I feel like it tells me that it's in Illinois, that it's in Edwardsville, and I'm still not sure where it's at. Gonzaga, Georgia.
Per my brother, give me Georgia.
I'm with your brother on this because Georgia's big and physical, and I like their guards. I think they get to the second round. Here we go. McNeese and Clemson. Will Wade's over there on his phone recruiting transfer portal guys. Brad Burnell's about to sign a huge extension with Clemson.
Or Brad Burnell's looking at his agent like, hey, that Indiana job was mine.
Hey, agent, Texas just opened this morning. Oh, hey, we're playing today? Texas is a good basketball job.
You know what? Let's just do it. Give me Will Wade and them boys.
Yeah, we can't pick Clemson on this program.
Not. Give me Will Wade and them boys.
We'll sell out a loss to not pick Clemson. We never pick Clemson. All right, McNeese winning there. Yeah, Will Wade and them boys. Purdue, High Point.
Chalk.
I'm going to go Purdue as well there. Purdue is set to get upset at some point.
And by the way, when I say chalk, that just means I don't know anything.
Right. Good point. All right. Illinois, Xavier. Xavier knocks us off Texas last night, so Texas doesn't even wait for Rodney Terry to get back to the 40 acres. They fire him basically on the spot in Dayton. Texas is looking for a new basketball coach this morning. We'll talk more about that next week. Somebody will tell us how the process went, and they knew about this way back in February.
IU Anon 1976.
Illinois, Xavier.
This is the opposite of chalk, where I just go with a coach that I know. So I'm going with Sean Miller.
Okay. Well, Brad Underwood coached here.
Well, I don't know him.
Okay. I go Illinois. I go Illinois on that. Kentucky, Troy.
Give me Kentucky.
Against the guys
the
from
Waffle House boys.
Yeah.
Give me Kentucky, but that's intriguing. I'm intrigued now.
Okay. All right. I'm with you on Kentucky. We both got Kentucky. UCLA, Utah State.
Again, I'll go chalk and coach. I know.
Remember Mick Cronin,
yeah.
blew. I was going to say cursed out. Maybe, I don't know. But remember, he went off on his kids mid-season. You know what? I don't know on this one. Give me Utah State. Let's pick another upset there. Tennessee, Wofford.
I'll go chalk here, but Rick Barnes' teams do struggle.
They tend to, yeah. I'm with you on that.
But
all right.
I'll go with Tennessee.
Back to the top. Houston, Georgia.
Houston.
Moving down the line, we both took McNeese because neither of us like Clemson. We're very into this. McNeese, Purdue.
Let's just make this thing. Let's make it as awkward as possible. Let's have a coach who's leaving the team make a run.
They're playing for him. They understand. This is the storyline. They understand he's stepping into the ACC. They're playing for him. He's giving the kids his best effort. McNeese is in the Sweet 16 against Houston. Also,
they're playing to go to the ACC, the players.
Yeah. That's a legitimate point. He's selling them in the locker room. Guys, this is the setup for our run next year. You got to learn to play. We both have McNeese there. Illinois, Kentucky.
Give me Kentucky.
I think this is where Kentucky goes cold. Illinois' defense is better. Kentucky's too reliant on the three. I'm going to take the Illini to get there, and then I'm going to take Tennessee, which will actually be a rematch from earlier this season. Houston, McNeese.
This is where it ends for McNeese. Give me Houston.
Yep, I'm with you on that. Illinois, Tennessee.
Rick Barnes, you struggle in these tournament, but I'm going to go with you.
Tennessee won that game. I was in Cherokee watching it, so you can kind of figure out what I might or might not have been doing while I was watching it. But Tennessee had to come back in that game. They made, I think, a layup. I believe it was a layup late in the game to win that ball game, and they probably should have lost, if I'm remembering correctly. That was way back in December before Christmas. I'm going to go Tennessee. I think Barnes is getting hot. Houston, we're all in. We're all in. SEC's looking good now all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, the SEC is living up to... By the way, in both of our brackets, should this play out, the SEC will have got 1, 2, in our brackets, 3 of the teams to the Elite Eight. Now, all of a sudden, does that change the narrative a little bit?
It might change it. You have to look at how well the top teams performed as opposed to the lower teams. What does that mean? I think there's a conversation to be had.
Houston, Tennessee.
Give me Houston.
I'm with you. Yeah, that's where that run ends. All right. 803-404-6100. I tell you what, we've got our Final Four set. Alabama, Houston, Michigan State, Maryland for me, St. John's for Preston. We will wrap up the show. We got Josh Harris, Darlington Raceway president, due up next. And when we wrap up the show at the end of the hour, we will give you our championship picks. We got our Final Four set. We'll in the final segment after the Darlington Raceway Corley Pool Solutions Checker Flag Challenge picks, we'll give you our champions. So you got to hang around for that. Stay in your car. Don't go anywhere. Josh Harris coming up next. We get back into some NASCAR. You're listening to the early game. Bill Gunner for Mid-State Roofing, where for nearly 30 years, Mid-State Roofing has been the leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry, and it's that proven history, 30 years is a long time, that assures you that they will get the job done with proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility, whether it's your home or your business, whether you're here in Columbia, Aiken, Augusta, Florence, Myrtle Beach, Greenville, Charleston, wherever you're at, Mid-State Roofing is ready to help you, and they do that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's right, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You will speak with an on-call technician or a Mid-State Roofing employee ready to help you with your roofing needs. And now they say, if you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. I say, don't get a leak. Call Mid-State Roofing today and get a maintenance contract so that you are prepared. 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. Call Mid-State Roofing today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you. All right, things have picked up. Didn't like yelling at y'all, but it seemed to have got your attention, or maybe just everybody got to work and things settled down. Right now, just one incident to report, I-20 eastbound at US 378. We do still have that stalled vehicle, though, on Gardner's Ferry in front of Lower Richland High School, but proud of y'all. You got to work safely. Now you're listening to us talk. Coming up next, we got our NASCAR segment, and we'll give you some great picks, and then we'll give you the final 4 picks. But just 2 incidents to report. I-20 eastbound at US 378. And again, that stalled vehicle at Gardner's Ferry Road in front of Lower Richland High School. Weather today, windy, cloudy, chance of rain, high of 66. Clear tonight, low of 33. It's going to be windy and rainy. Go see Terry, Elijah, Jay, all at Twin Peaks later today, 12 to 6, and watch some basketball. Again, want to remind you, the 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Classic this year, partnering up with Lexington County Gamecock Club, coming up next Friday, March the 28th at Charwood Golf Club. That's right. You can come out and join us. $400 per team. Will tee off at roughly 9:30 a.m. I'm emceeing it, and when I MC it, and given that I talk for a living, that can run a little long, but we are scheduled to tee off around 9:30 that morning. But come out and join us. Give Charwood a call today, 803-755-2000. Again, it's 803-755-2000. Again, foursomes are $400. Call out there. We'll have breakfast sausage for you. That's always delicious. You know, the sausage, the bread, the little mustard, absolutely delicious. We'll have early morning beverages from Saki's Wine and Spirits. So we got a lot going on coming up next Friday, March the 28th, out at Charwood Golf Club. Give them a phone call today, 803-755-2000. Again, $400 for your team, 9:30 tee off. Beverages, early morning beverages, sponsored by Saki's Wine and Spirits. And, of course, we will have plenty else going on to tell you about in the next coming days. All right, that's next Friday. We are closing in just 2 races away from Darlington. And joining us now is the president of that fine establishment. Are you a golfer, Mr. Josh Harris?
Well, I've got a set of clubs. I like to get out there. I'm not. I need my game needs some work if I can find some time.
Okay, all right. Kind of a golfer. So then let's ask you this. I think you've told us you've got some young boys there in your house. Are y'all bracketologists? Have you filled out your brackets for the NCAA tournament?
Oh yeah, we all 3 of us have a bracket. We're ready to go. Our family does a little contest, so we've got it ready to go for this weekend with games kicking off today.
That's exactly right. So, well, have you released your bracket to your family? Can you share with us your championship game and your champion?
I have not released it yet, and I think there's still some to go. But I'll give you a sneak peek. I've got Auburn winning it all.
Okay. All right, good call. Neither of us had Auburn getting to the Final Four.
Bruce Pearl said it, only 6 games.
Only six consecutive. He left out. You're right. He never said consecutive, Josh. He never said consecutive. He just said they got to win 6 games. And that consecutive word is key there. So let's get into it. Last week out in Vegas, Josh Berry, first Cup Series win of his career.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. I'm gonna take a little credit for it. We got him tuned up and ready to go over at Fort Jackson last week before he headed out to Vegas. So I thought that was really cool to see Josh get his first Cup win. The Wood brothers get their 101st victory in their history as they celebrate their 75th anniversary this year. So I think that's a popular win all the way around. Josh is a guy that earned his opportunity coming up through local short track racing. Performed well for Junior Motorsports in the Xfinity Series, and I think it's really cool to see him get that first win this early in the season.
What did you make of that race out there with him? He was, by the way, a huge long shot, plus 4,000 in terms of Vegas, and that'll bring us back to our picks here in a little bit, but plus 4,000. But what did you just take away from that race?
Well, I'm going to, Kyle Larson was my pick last week, and I think Kyle was in a really strong position. Ended up there with a little bit of pitch strategy taking place in the last 100, laps, last 70 laps, some different strategies unfolding there, put guys out in front, which Josh took advantage of. And then, he restarted, I think that last restart maybe in third or fourth, and ended up driving away and passing those guys. So he certainly earned it. If you look over the course of the first, handful of races this season, he's been, running in the top 10 pretty consistently at all the tracks. So I think it's not necessarily, I know he wasn't an odds-on favorite by any means, and I don't know that anyone would have necessarily had him picked to win a race this early. But when you think about it, their alliance with Penske and how well those cars have run, even though they haven't gotten the finishes to show for it, I think when you take a big picture look, it shouldn't be that surprising. Although I would have probably, if you would ask me where's Josh Berry going to get his first career Cup win, I probably would have gone to a little bit shorter track, maybe a Richmond, a Martinsville, something like that. But good to see him get that one last week.
And you still there, Ed? Did we lose? We hung up on him. Yes, please call him back. Please, let's get back to Mr. Harris. There's technical difficulties interrupt, and when he comes back, we'll make our picks here. Preston for the NASCAR thing. Preston, by the way, did finish ahead of Reggie last week. He had 2 points. Reggie had just 1. Reggie took my guy, Denny Hamlin, and this is when you've got a good driver that you really support, because Denny Hamlin, Preston, didn't get Reggie any points
as he was supporting you. So again, like I said, the natives are getting restless. I have to try and figure out a way to get – I don't want to rush my pick here. I don't want to take any wild choices, but I am a little bit nervous about what this pick is going to be.
All right, and we'll see if we get Josh Harris back on the line here and see what happened. That was a new experience having that happen on live radio, and okay, the phone is messing up. I tell you what, here's what we're going to do. Producer Ed, let's go to break. Let's hit a break. We'll come back. We'll have a long last segment. We'll get it all back under control, and we'll wrap up in style as we finish up our morning show. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, and producer Ed Bird. It is the early game.
Preston here for Ben's Cato's Power Equipment. What do you need? Do you need a lawnmower? Do you need lawn equipment? Ben's Cato Power Equipment can help you. Third-generation owner Ben Cato has provided top-notch service, great deals, and the mom-and-pop values that you love. And Ben is determined to raise the standard of sales, service, and retail. At Cato's, they're proud to offer a wide selection of new and pre-owned mowers, tractors, and more. So if you're ready to invest in something new, the friendly team can make the process easy. They'll help you choose the right equipment, find the financing options, and keep your gear running with expert service and repair parts. The crew might be young, but they have over 125 years of know-how to help you. So call them at 803-254-3711. That's Cato's Power Equipment at 803-254-3711.
All right, we got a lot going on here at 107.5 The Game, and let me tell you a little bit about it. Coming up again after us from 9 to 12, Gamecock Central will take over Firehouse Subs. That's right. You can go see Tyler and the Gamecock Central guys 9 to 12 at Firehouse Subs today. Then coming up again, 12 to 6, Twin Peaks in the Vista. You can go and hang out with Jay, Terry, Elijah, and all the guys over there. You can go and see exactly what's going on and watch basketball day. Remember, that weather is not supposed to be particularly good, so it's a good day to go over there. Also, want to remind you, baseball this weekend, the Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union Grand Slam giveaway. If a batter hits a Grand Slam, you could win all the cash in the pot. Just go to 1075thegame.com to register. The pot is currently $175. Go to the Palmetto Citizens Credit Union Grand Slam giveaway at 1075 The Game and sign up today. All right. We got Mr. Josh Harris back. Apologize for that, Mr. Harris. Not real sure what went haywire there, but we were rolling along with our NASCAR segment, but like a very professional show that we are, we regrouped, took a pit stop, and now we're ready to get back on the track and make some picks.
There you go.
That's right. We're refueled, ready to go.
Refueled, ready to go. So let's get to our Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge, sponsored by Corley Pool Solutions. Thank you to all they do for us, and all of us are competing to steal that trophy away from Reggie. So we need some good picks this week. Josh and Preston are tied at 14 points apiece. Now we're heading to Homestead in Miami. This race will, of course, be this coming weekend, Sunday, 3 p.m. on FS1. Preston, because of only getting 2 points last week, and Josh, you got 4. Preston gets the number 1 pick this week.
Christopher Bell.
Okay, he's going with the hot driver there, Mr. Harris. He goes with Josh. Speaking of 6 consecutive wins for Auburn, Bell had those 3 consecutive that was very impressive early on. Josh, that brings us to you. What direction are you going?
All right, well, I'm going to go back-to-back. I'm going to go Kyle Larson again. I think he was a little snake-bitten last week with the pitch strategy. I think he's going to go to Homestead and dominate.
Okay, all right, Homestead and dominate. Now, apparently Reggie loses the lead, and he figures out his job is to send in picks right away. His pick was Christopher Bell. He was going Christopher Bell. Good job. You stole that from him.
Good.
So that means he is going with William Byron is his pick as well. Jen out today. Jen will be back coming up on Monday. Her pick is going to be Ryan Blaney. Blaney is her pick. And guys, 1, 2, 3, 4. It has been 4 weeks. That's the max I can get out of it. Give me Denny Hamlin. Give me Denny Hamlin to get the job done. I feel like this is perfect. Hamlin wasn't good last week. He was 25th in Vegas. I like him in Homestead. What do you think about that, Mr. Harris?
Well, I kind of saw this one coming. You get the lead this week after, going away from Hamlin. Now you're going to try to maintain that lead with your guy. I like the strategy. I just hope it doesn't pay off.
Well, we always appreciate the time. Next week, we'll get into it. Next week, we are close, man. And by the way, go to darlingtonraceway.com. Purchase your tickets today. 17 days. 6 hours, 9 minutes away. You can go there, check out all the great ticket options, camping, travel packages. Go get your tickets today because it's going to be a phenomenal event. The weather's going to be great, and we look forward to catching up with you and talking about it next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Take care. Josh Harris with Darlington Raceway joining us this morning, and we'll see how that goes. Again, thank you to Corley Pool Solutions, the official sponsor of the Checkered Flag Challenge 2025. By the way, just to recap that, Preston goes with Christopher Bell, Josh goes with Kyle Larson, Reggie goes with William Byron, Jen takes Ryan Blaney, and I take Denny Hamlin. Be interested to see if that pays off. All right, Preston, here we go. So our final 4s are set. Preston and I are kind of in lockstep on this. We did catch grief from Clemson Fan N on our live stream that we did. Now, he also says you took Clemson over Texas in the college football playoff. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I did.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Because I said we never take Clemson, and you pointed out something.
Okay. I did.
All right, no problem. So yeah, anyway, but he was on to us. He called me a dweeb and said we're the Paul Feinbaum of radio. And anyway, honestly, he was all upset that his Tigers get upset by former Clemson coach.
If my salary could be half of what Paul Feinbaum's salary was, I'd be thankful. Very thankful. I hopefully can be on that pathway.
Gladly be some homers. All right, let's get to this here. So, South and West. I took Michigan State out of the South. Tom Izzo rides in. I got an all Big Ten showdown, which then people start going, 2 Big Tens in the Final Four. Only one SEC team. Who's the better conference now? SEC. What does it mean more? I got Michigan State and Maryland. Michigan State gets to the national championship under Tom Izzo. You have St. John's. Rick Pitino. That would be fun to watch.
I do.
Rick Pitino and Tom Izzo. I feel like that's 2 great wrestlers that we never see go against each other. But you got St. John's. Where do you go?
Give me St. John's.
Preston takes St. John's in the Final Four. All right, other side of the bracket. We are in agreement on this. Alabama, Houston. Alabama finally there under Nate Oates. Houston, another trip with Kelvin Sampson. What direction do you go?
SEC.
I'm with you on that. Alabama over Houston. I have Michigan State, Alabama. Michigan State, Alabama in the national championship game. Michigan State. Didn't see it coming all season, but they get hot.
For the win.
A guy who knows how to win 6 consecutive.
He's done it.
He's done it. That's where I'm going. I'm going with the guy that has done it. I personally am taking Michigan State to get the job done. SEC gets 14 teams in, one in the Final Four, does not win the national championship. Michigan State is your winner. You have Alabama and Rick Pitino. Alabama versus Rick Pitino. What a story this would be.
It would be a great story, but it comes to an end here. Give me Alabama for the victory.
And Preston goes with Alabama to win it all. There is our picks. Anything in particular that you stands out about our picks that you are most excited to see?
Well, I just realized that I'm just picking coaches.
Okay, well.
Just picking old school coaches. And I do feel like there's an idea of X and those guys can get their players over the hump in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the coaches that we have here. Look, Rick Barnes has been around. Kelvin Sampson has been around. And then our Elite Eight in the East, Nate Oates and John Shire, kind of new coaches there, learning their way, both really good. Elite Eight in the South, Bruce Pearl's been around for a long time. You actually had Pat Kelsey getting there with Louisville in the Elite Eight. Tom Izzo's guy that we both like. Maryland and Texas Tech, a little bit different there. So it's going to be a fun tournament. Again, get going today. If you can get out, go hang out over at Twin Peaks with the guys. That Louisville-Creighton game is going to be –
That's the one.
That's going to be – I didn't have time to give you the games that you need to watch over the next 2 days. I'm out tomorrow. But Louisville-Creighton should be a lot of fun, and that'll kick off the tournament, and that's a great way to kick off the tournament. I think that Georgia-Gonzaga game also later today. Georgia's physical. I like their guards. I'm just talking about fun games to watch, not – and these are both of those are 8-9 games. I think those are really fun games. I'll give you another 8-9 game, but I think it's a blowout. I think Dan Hurley, keep an eye on Connecticut. I was tempted to take Connecticut over Florida. Tournament Dan knows what he's doing.
Tournament Dan.
That's why he pointed to the rings when he was at Creighton, when he was coaching against Creighton.
He also cried about getting dunked on in the end of his game, too. So who knows?
Smart coach. He knows how to motivate. Knows how to motivate. Guys, it's been a fun week for me. I'll be back Monday. Preston is back tomorrow, I believe, with Tyler, and we will get you going up and early, bright and early, cover the first day of the NCAA tournament. Y'all have a great weekend.
Appreciate y'all.
You got